What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? We back with another one. Y'all already know what it do. But this one is an update on Dave Tesla being found on surveillance. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. If you have been following the story of David, the up-and-coming R&B singer whose 14-year-old underage girlfriend Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found dead inside the trunk of his Tesla, you've probably noticed something. It's been quiet, like way too quiet.
Mm-hmm.
For weeks now, we have not heard a word from the police. No new statements, no new developments, not even a peep from David himself or his powerhouse attorney Blair Burke, who represents everyone from Harvey Weinstein to Kanye West. But that silence just broke. Because tonight, we are learning about brand new surveillance footage that could completely change this case. It captures the Tesla, David's Tesla, being driven for the last time before it was dumped on that Hollywood Hills street, the same street where it sat baking in the sun for weeks, with Celeste's body decomposing inside.
Interested in GLP-1s for weight loss? But worried about high costs and hidden markups? GoodRx
Y'all
now
know where
offers
that
monthly
premium, but we
GLP-1
working on it.
subscriptions. Always know what you'll pay up front. No surprise prices.
Y'all know we ain't got premium, but we working on it. Let's go. Let's keep it going. The boy drove the Tesla to a vacant area with a body in it, left it there for weeks at a time. That sounded like that was a little plain. Keep going though. Let's see what's happening.
And that footage? It did not come from the LAPD. It came from a private investigator who's been quietly working behind the scenes. Earlier today on my News Nation show, Banfield, shout out News Nation, I'm on.
Is that a private investigator? Somebody been watching you the whole time, boy? Yeah. They was following and keeping up with you the whole month. You didn't die. You just died, boy. Oh, oh. Yeah, that's pretty tough when you got a private investigator on you and you don't know it. And I mean, that this particular person was hired for you. It's their job, my boy, and they do that. They definitely do that, my boy. They do that. They get with it. You understand me? This right here about to show you how they get with it. Woo! Y'all better be careful out here, private investigators. Really, this.
On Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock at night Eastern. I had a chance to talk to that private investigator. His name is Steve Fisher, and he told me what he found. He told me where he found it, and he told me why he thinks this surveillance video is the biggest yet in the case. I'm going to play you our full conversation in just a second. But first, as always, I want to thank you so much for supporting this podcast. My little guy Atlas and I could not do this without you. Of course, I think you always know he gets the best little naps in our studio because the entire time I'm in a studio, even on my Banfield show live, he is having a sleep right below the desk that I'm sitting at, and it's just his happiest little time. This is his happy place. I also couldn't do it without my sponsors, like Wild Grain. I got to tell you, I'm obsessed with Wild Grain, and if you haven't heard of it yet, you are seriously missing out. Wild Grain is the first ever bake from frozen box for real artisanal breads, pastries, and fresh pastas. And here's what I love. Wild Grain uses a slow fermentation process, which means it's easier on your tummy, higher in nutrients and antioxidants, and it's made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce. Plus, everything is customizable. You can pick your favorites, you can try their seasonal goodies, or you can switch it up with their new gluten-free or plant-based boxes. I gotta say, my first Wild Grain box totally surprised me. I popped the sourdough loaf into the oven, and 25 minutes later, my whole kitchen smelled like a bakery. The crust was crisp, the inside was soft and warm, and it tasted completely homemade, especially with the butter. And don't even get me started on the pumpkin cinnamon biscuits. Let me just say, Atlas was waiting patiently below for a little piece that might fall on the ground or be handed to him. This fall, treat yourself and your loved ones to warm sourdough breads and seasonal baked goods from Wild Grain. Rumor has it they have apple cider donuts and pumpkin cinnamon biscuits, so get them before these seasonable items sell out. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering my listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/Banfield and start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box. What's not to love? You get $30 off your first box, too, when you go to wildgrain.com/Banfield. That's wildgrain.com/Banfield. You can also just use my promo code at the checkout, Banfield. It's not hard to forget, right? Also, tell your friends they can use it, too. Don't miss the seasonal products. Okay, back to the case. I had a conversation with a private investigator who got his hands on some pretty jarring video of the singer David's Tesla as it's driving away from his mansion, and it ends up in a place where it was abandoned. And guess what? The window was partly down. And so, yeah, the person driving was visible. Here's my conversation with Steve Fisher. Take a listen. How certain are you that this video of the car driving away from David's mansion is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned, likely with that body inside?
I'm certain. Listen, I can't say 100% because there's not a camera trained on that Tesla once it's parked. Continuously that I've seen. I mean, there likely is a camera, but I've seen the car driven to that spot, and with the dates, with the date that it was. They left town right after that. I'm certain that is the last time the car was driven. It was put there with her, in the front trunk.
And there's one weird detail about what you could, well, there's a lot of weird details, and I'm going to get to what you saw through the driver's side window in a second, but there was an air freshener that was found in the car at this point that we see on our screen where it was abandoned. Was that air freshener also hanging from the rear view mirror when it drove off from David's house?
It wasn't, but the window was half to 3/4 of the way down, which is odd because it was a very short drive. And also at that, on that day, this is the very end of July 29th, it was like 78 degrees at that time in the morning, or 77 degrees. And if it was on the street where the house is, so it's shaded by the house. So, if you're going, I don't know why the window would be rolled down unless there's something, offensive there. And then all of a sudden, one of the first things I picked up on when the news first broke about her being found in there, where they were towing the car away from the impound lot to LAPD, was why on a $104,000 car is there a Christmas tree air freshener hanging from the from the mirror? It seemed kind of odd to me, but I guess maybe they thought that would help mask it for when they had to move the car again.
If there was that.
Okay, now you just said that it was not too far from the house, so I'm not guessing that there's walking distance. I don't know. I'm not in LA or never been to Hollywood, but I'm not guessing that that was walking distance down the down the street from the house. You know what I mean? So if you to drop that car off, how did you get back? That's my question. I get you saying what you saw when it left, but let's get to the point to where you actually saw somebody leave that vehicle and tell me that you saw them get in somebody else's car and that's how you know for sure. Like, you know what I mean? Because I need a little more for that. I need a little more information on that. So yeah, let's let the detective get back to it.
That smell at that time, because again, we have no idea when Celeste started decomposing in that trunk. We don't know if she'd been decomposing in the trunk for a long time before it ended up being the car ended up being abandoned. But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla. One, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was that dirty, except you could tell that they had run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur, but you can see the person and you can see what they're wearing, something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
Okay, yeah, let's
and I know that the viewers right now are screaming at the TV set saying, Ashley, ask them who it was.
yeah, let's see that. Let's get some of that information out there. I mean, the case is already busted open, right? So it shouldn't be nothing to uh, disclose of that information since you're putting this picture out here like that. Because now you're opening the door for people to want to know more. Like I'm asking more questions. So, and you literally just said you got more pictures. So let's get down to the nitty gritty of what these pictures look like and what we got going with them. Know what I mean? So yeah, I'm searching. I'm looking for some files and documents to come across my desk for that, sir. Yeah, I'm looking for that information, sir.
Was.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly wish I could tell you. I don't want to, I don't want to interfere with LAPD on that. And I think that's coming because we know a crime was committed 100%. Somebody concealed her body. And, hey, maybe the reason I don't want to say the person's name is because maybe this person was just someone that was asked to move the car, and didn't know. I find that very hard to believe, and I doubt that's the case. But just in case, I'd rather LAPD make that announcement.
Well, and it's important for us to tell viewers as well that you turned all this material over to them. You're the one who found it. You're the one who took it to them. You're the one who said, and I connected it to the photos from just 12 hours earlier, and here's the clothing. It looks like this could be an ID. July 29th, important because that was the last day that David was in Los Angeles, right? But before he went off on his tour. So he was there in Los Angeles on that day that drive happened.
Yeah, I've seen on one of his public social medias, he had put a video out where it was the first day on their new tour bus because they were going to San Francisco for the first night of the concert series, and they did a video from inside the tour bus. So I believe hours after that car was moved, they actually got on the tour bus and headed to San Fran.
Let me ask you this, and I only have a couple seconds left, but you found some other suspicious
that
things.
don't
The
make
landlord,
sense.
as you know, we obviously know now, allowed you into the house, and you saw some things in there that were very uncomfortable and very suspicious. I know you can't say certain things, but what can you tell us about what you saw inside the house?
Well, and this is the landlord found it also, but there were some things in there that were hard to think about because these.
You said it was hours after he got on the tour bus that the car got moved. So the only way the car would get moved after he got on the tour bus is that somebody moved the car for him. But you also just said in the beginning that you for sure that he was in the car. Then you said something about 12 hours before the car was seen at this going to this location. So we gotta make this make sense now. We just can't be all over the place saying anything and all willy nilly because it sounds good. So I ain't trying to fuck it. Yes, I am. I'm trying to dissect what you're saying, and what's going on, but I really want to know what's happening with this case. You know what I'm talking about? We get back to it. Cause you confusing the hell out of me, brother. Sir, Mr. PI, you're not sounding very clear and understanding right. Just want to let you know. I'm listening, brother.
These would be items that would be used if you wanted to get rid of a body. And there's really no other purpose for them at a house like this or anything. And they're expensive items. And so they weren't jokes, and but they weren't used. I'll tell you that they were still in the box. So I don't know how much we'll find out about that in the future because you can't charge somebody for thinking about doing something. But I think
No, you
that they
sure
had a
can't.
plan.
But it's important to know, because the first thing I said when I learned of that was that, well, that can't be possible because the LAPD raided the place and took everything. But you know for a fact that they photographed those things, and they're huge and heavy and expensive, and so they have ample information and photographic evidence of those things.
They said that we inquired about this, and they said that they photographed it. I don't know why they didn't take it. There's two items. I don't know why they didn't take them, but they said they photographed them.
So tonight we know this much. Somebody parked that Tesla where it was abandoned, and that somebody walked away. And somebody somewhere knows exactly what happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah, that was one of my questions in the beginning. You said you saw somebody, and you said you for certain the dude, the PI, you for certain that it was David driving the car, but you ain't give no evidence that you saw him leave that junk. So you a terrible PI at that. Then you said that the car was moved. You got photo. Well, first of all, let me back up. You said you got pictures of the car 12 hours before it got moved. Then you turned around and said that the car was moved after he got on the tour bus. So let's let's get all this situated and put this in one category and make it make sense. Cause I ain't no way that he was driving the car and then it got moved after he got on the tour bus, and you got pictures of it 12 hours before, and you gave this to the papa, and you got one picture that's showing that he's going from the house to this spot. But now you got us trying to figure out who was driving the car, who dropped the car off and got in another car potentially and went somewhere else. And then on top of that, you got to try to figure out if the car was moved after he got on the tour bus or did all of this happen before? What are we doing? Because the girl's still dead and we ain't, I don't, I'm really trying to see, trying to understand. Now that the private investigator, what you missed, it sound like you missed a lot of stuff, my boy. Sound like you missed a lot of stuff.
The question now is whether investigators will make that name public or if there's going to be an arrest soon. Either way, we're not done because this story and Celeste deserve answers and justice.
And they definitely do.
I'm Ashley Banfield, and as always, thank you so much for listening.
Definitely do deserve some damn answers. For sure, for sure. But I'll be back with another react and update on it to let you know what's going on. Until then, y'all be good. Peace.